I'm going to make the chain now, and I'm going to make a number of spacers for making our chain. I'm starting off with my 10 millimeter tube or bugle beads, and I have about a yard of my thread on the needle, and I'm going to do a ladder stitch. So I strung on one of my tube beads, and I'm going to get another one and bring them down to about, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches of tail. And I'm going to pass my needle back up into the first tube or bugle bead that I have strung on, and I'm going to just pull my thread so that these beads sit together. And I need to reposition myself, or actually I need to reinforce this connection, and now reposition and get another tube bead. So I have this one strung on with my needle exiting in this direction. I'm going to circle around and pass the needle back into the top of the tube bead where I'm exiting. And in order to just get these together, just roll them between your fingers. Just roll them between your fingers and they'll get together just like that. And what will make them sit tighter together is what? The same thing we always do. We reinforce by going back into that connection. Oh my goodness. I'm just getting stuck on everything here. And so after reinforcing, this is the reinforcement of it. Now we reposition by going back up into this one. And just try to keep it flat so you can see. Now I'm going to get another one. And with my needle exiting up, I'm going to circle around and go back into that same bead where we're exiting. And if you have trouble getting them together, just, roll them in your fingers and pass back into the bead where you started. I mean, the one that you added, and back into the one that you started for the reinforcement. And now repositioning this way. What are we going to do? So we're going to string another one. So we're going to need a total of 5. And these, if I didn't mention it, these are my 10 millimeter tubes. So I'm going to pass my needle back into that bead where I'm exiting. And, oh, I see that the problem is I've got some needles over there, and now I've got a thread mess. Imagine if I had pulled that. I'd be really upset right now. So we're just going to get these here and roll them in the fingers, and reinforce first by going back up into the one that I just added, back into the original where I started. And that will reinforce that connection. As you see, they're tight together. Now I've got to reposition by going back into this one. Now we just needed the 5. And I got my tail caught up in that. All right, we need the 5, and we're going to use these 5 and turn them into a huge tube. So I'm going to, did you see what I just did? Fold them together, and I'm going to pass the needle into the original tube bead where I started, and we'll know that because look here, my tail thread is exiting here. I'm going to circle around and go into that same bead in the same direction as my tail thread, and I'm not going to pull it tightly yet. I'm just going to show you that I'm going right back over here to the bead where I started. Can we see this? Okay, pull the thread, and now you're going to have to make sure that you can pull your threads tightly. So I'm going to start by doing this and then going back up. And in order to get these to be a secure connection, what do? We reinforce. Going here first, and here, next, back up. And now the only thing we need to do is work our thread around, and we don't have to tie any knots, but this is going to be one of our connectors. I made a bead connector. I just wanted to make something that would stay together, and it ends up being a bead with a hole. So that's what I want to do. And I'm using all sizes of my tube beads. I'm going to make a series of them. I might make 4 for each side of the necklace chain, but work on these. Do exactly what you need to do or what you want to do in order to make your chain connectors. And I just want to make sure that I let you know that the only thing I'm going to do is pass my tail, put the needle on my tail thread and pass that thread around and get rid of it. And I'm going to make a few more of these in different sizes. And when I'm done making them, I will see you in 3 days. Have a great one. Thanks.